Hello again, and thank you for staying with us. South Africa now has 12 official languages after the National Assembly unanimously endorsed Section 6 of the Constitution to include the South African Sign Language. Until now, 11 official languages were provided for. Let's speak to the significance of this move. I am joined by Professor Lollie Makhubu-Badenhorst, who is the chairperson of the Pan-South African Language Board. Prof, a pleasure to have you on the program this afternoon. Now, this has been a long time coming, and a road that has started with Parliament being addressed by the Deaf Federation of South Africa, of course, as we remember back in 2007. In 2017, the Constitutional Court Review Committee recommended that the Constitution be amended to include sign language as one of the official languages. As an official language, does this then also raise the status of sign language?
Absolutely, and thank you so much, for dealing with this issue. It's about time. I absolutely agree with you. We have been advocating for this as the Pan-South African Language Board and as institutions of higher learning. So absolutely, it will definitely raise it, not just any sign language, but the South African Sign Language, as we know that each country has its own sign language. So yay, hooray, we are excited about it.
Lots of excitement, and this will in turn foster this understanding that the South African Sign Language is of a comparable status to spoken languages as well. Now, deaf people will be able to have access to information wherever legislation requires that it will be available in all the official languages. And once President Cyril Ramaphosa signs the amendment, or rather the amended bill into law, South African Sign Language will indeed be the 12th recognized official language. Talk us through this process and what steps still need to be followed here.
Yes, absolutely. As you rightfully say, that we're waiting for the president to sign on the dotted line, and we are also hoping that the necessary resources will be afforded and will go with it, because we've got the tendency of, just doing the lip service. And, we say that, hooray, we celebrate, and then the next thing, we don't have resources, but we're waiting for that to be signed on the dotted line. Because a lot of companies and people, once we say that let's use or recognize sign language or a particular language, they don't want to do that if the president hasn't signed it off. So he needs to sign on a dotted line, and then we can then really celebrate and have it as an official language.
Now, this bill was introduced and referred to the Justice Committee in January of this year with the aim of really promoting this equal protection before the law and the rights of people who are deaf and hard of hearing. Speak to us about what is important to understand and really learn about South African Sign Language.
Well, what's important is that, it is a visual language. As compared to as opposed to the spoken languages. So, and at the moment, currently, the institutions of higher learning don't really recognize or offer it. Not all universities offer it as a module or even an elective. Only in schools and selected schools where it is offered. However, if it becomes one of the 12 official languages, then it will by law. All schools, all universities, in all provinces, then people then can't hide behind it. And also, in order for the deaf community to get social services, whether going to the police station, whether going for healthcare and so on, they will be able to gain access, because people have been hiding behind the fact that it is not yet an official language. Yeah. They just recognize it if they so wish. But now, we're really looking forward for everybody else then to consider it as an official.
So you speak about the characteristics of the South African Sign Language. Let's speak to the importance of all South Africans familiarizing themselves with this language.
Yeah, no, well, I was once there myself. I had to actually do the basics as early as 2002 myself. So the tendency is that when you say that the person is deaf and you need to communicate, people have a tendency of speaking louder. It doesn't help. Whether you speak louder, it doesn't help. So the person is deaf, cannot hear you. So you really, some of them, they do lip read, meaning that as you speak, you need to speak rather slowly and look directly at the person. And the other tendency is that people tend to look at the interpreter And you shouldn't be looking at the interpreter because you're not conversing with the interpreter. You converse directly with the person, with the deaf person. So you need to look at that person. And also the colors that you would wear when you communicate. Try to avoid light colors and also your background. You need, as you probably would notice with the people that are doing, providing the interpreting services, whether it's an insert on TV, we wear the corporate colors. They wear those colors so that we don't do that. And then probably also then lastly, try not to, some of us grew up watching Mandela, Namaring Ake, all the glitters and so on. So try not to wear the glitters and so on, because once you move your hands and so on, then, that is quite distracting. It's quite distracting, the eye, because it is a visual language and you use your hands when you communicate with them. Try to reduce that. And the colors and the nail polishes, you see, this is not the right color that I have, but not. But you men probably will be safe. But with us, Amarinda, Mandela, try to get rid of them. And the colors, moderate colors, and that is that. I think those are the few things that you need to avoid. And especially that one of speaking louder. It just doesn't help.
Prof, let me thank you for your time. That's Professor Lollie Makhubu-Badenhorst. She's the chairperson of the Pan-South African Language Board, of course, speaking to us about this important move to officially make sign language the 12th official language here in the Republic of South Africa. And now that particular decision still needs to be signed off by President Cyril Ramaphosa.